Welcome back to another edition of the Heritage Junior NFL Pregame Show for Week 14. Today's December 14th, 2025 on a Thursday. Tonight is the Detroit Lions host the Dallas Cowboys in the much-anticipated NFC showdown. Playoff implications on the line between the Cowboys and Lions. And we'll get ready to watch that game 8:15 tonight on Prime Video. Now, I got this poll up right now for the ones who watching on YouTube right now on my show. Who's going to win tonight's game, either the Dallas Cowboys or the Detroit Lions? Go vote on my poll, and we'll see how it counts about for tonight's game. Now, speaking of tonight's game, you got two teams coming in opposite directions last week. But first off, let's start with the Dallas Cowboys, 3 straight victories, including 2 wins against the last year's Super Bowl opponents, the Eagles and the Chiefs. This comes after a win over the Raiders on that Monday night after the Marshawn Kneeling passing. So now for the Cowboys, they're trying to win 4 straight to get to 7-5-1. Dak is playing super good the last 3 games, and I wonder if they can continue that momentum against Detroit tonight. CeeDee Lamb goes off, George Pickens goes off, and then you got your defense turn around in a big hurry. You got the 2 trades coming for the trade deadline. You had Quentin Williams and Logan Wilson, but also a lot of the defensive side of the ball for the players to get well adjusted to the turnaround of the changes that comes with the territory. But I'm looking at this for the Cowboys side of you, they can win games in totally different directions. If you put Dak on one corner, then CeeDee Lamb on another corner, and then George Pickens on another corner. And then you will have your backs and your receivers, Javonte Williams, and you got Jake Ferguson. And I can tell you that much for what Brian Schottenheimer did so far this season when they struggled a bit running the ball and give it to your receivers and your backs. But the last 3 games, I don't see no problem at all. Do the same thing tonight. Can they win it with more confidence, more domination? I think they will. And if you're looking at a great point of view of your fallen teammate Marshawn Kneeling, want you guys to fight the fight, don't lose the war, don't give up, don't throw on the white flag, keep winning and get to the playoffs for your teammate. And I like that sentiment after what happened a couple of weeks ago. And I can look at that. For the Dallas Cowboys standpoint, I can see what Brian Schottenheimer and his boys can do offensively, and then I can see what the defensively side of the ball with Logan Wilson, Quinn Williams, and everybody who played so well in the last couple of games, winning 3 in a row. And look, I have no problem with Dallas winning tonight. Can they continue that momentum side of things to keep it positive for Marshawn Kneeling? We'll see when we watch that game tonight. To the Detroit side of things, it's not been an easy last couple of weeks for Detroit, and I can tell you that much. It's not an easy couple of weeks going back to the Philly game, and then you got the win against the Giants in overtime, and then the loss to Green Bay on Thanksgiving 7 days ago, and you don't got Amon-Ra St. Brown because one of his angle in the first half of that game, I think that was the first quarter in that game. He is a game time decision tonight. We'll see when he comes out for warm-ups 90 minutes prior to kickoff, and we'll see if that status changed. I'm looking at the Detroit Lions. I'm looking at them as like, this is not the same team that they won 14 games last year. You don't got Fred Grant now, and you don't have your 2 coordinators with you. You don't got Ben Johnson to run the offense. You don't got Aaron Glenn to run the defense. They both been head coaching the Jets and the Bears right now. But I'm looking at this as a huge point of view to where that Detroit needs to start playing better football in the first quarter of the game. If they can do that, they can win the game. I can see if St. Brown played tonight, I can see them winning tonight's game. But they don't win this game without Amon-Ra St. Brown with them, that's not a good look for Detroit. I can tell you right and left and right how Dan Quinn calling the plays. No, excuse me, not Dan Quinn. How Dan Campbell calling the plays. How his coordinator's going to adjust Dan Campbell calling the plays right now. But at the end of the day, when I'm looking at this Detroit team, there's no way that they will not miss the playoffs. But they got to play much better football. And if they can play much better football, they can win tonight. If they win the remainder of of their last 5 games, they go into the postseason. But I'm not saying they will make it to the playoffs. It's a shootout that they can make it. But I can say this by Detroit side of you, like it's talking about Dallas side of you. If Detroit can run the ball more often, they got to get Jameer Gibbs and David Montgomery more snaps tonight if St. Brown can't go. And I'm looking at this too well that they're going to be short-handed because of injuries, including St. Brown going to be potentially out. And no matter what I know that the Detroit Lions can do, is just the fact that its injuries comes to what is the territory mark in the NBA in the NFL this season. But at the end of the day, you're looking at Detroit side of view, look at Dallas side of view, Brian Schottenheimer and Dan Campbell. If one of those two head coaches make a statement tonight, they can get their team into the tournament. And you got to have a big contribution to your star players. For Dallas side of things, you need more catches from Pickens, Lamb, and Ferguson. And for the Detroit side, you need more touches and catches for Gibbs and Montgomery if St. Brown not playing. Jared Goff needs his offensive line to step up and avoid sacks for Detroit to score points and win games for the rest of the season. If Detroit can do it tonight, I don't see why they can make it to the NFL playoffs this year. 8:15 tonight on Prime Video. That's all you need to watch for Week 14 to kick off between Detroit and Dallas from Ford Field in Detroit. Speaking of Amon St. Brown, still no updates yet until he's on the field for warm-ups before the game. I will keep you guys updated throughout the night. Probably if I heard any updates before I end this show, I will give you guys the update. Let's go to the continuation of Week 14. Not just the Lions and the Cowboys as a big game for playoff implications. Sunday, you got the AFC North lead on the line. Aaron Rodgers, the Steelers taking on Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. Lamar Jackson hadn't practiced a game today. Last couple of weeks, probably the last month or so, with various injuries, but he will be playing on Sunday versus the Steelers at home, regardless. Tom Monken, their offensive coordinator, just told ESPN today that he said that Lamar will be able to play Sunday. Let's see what he can do if he be practiced fully tomorrow. We'll find out if that's the case because he has to be ready by Sunday. So we'll see how it goes with Lamar Jackson. As for the Steelers' point of view, Aaron Rodgers still have that left wrist fracture. I've been told since last week he got 3 fractures on the left wrist. Don't know will be surgery required or not after the season. He got a scratch or a spot on the bridge of his nose from Sunday when he got sacked by Joey Bosa. That's against the Bills. Rodgers is going to play regardless of pain tolerance of the left wrist. So that's his non-throwing risk. This is a throwing risk, and this is his non-throwing risk with the three bones that is fractured of his left wrist. Can he tolerate the pain? I think he can, but we'll see what comes on Sunday. Mike Tomlin getting booed after Sunday by the Steelers fans, but his coaches and his players are rallied around Mike Tomlin for Sunday's game in Baltimore. Can they stop? Can they not worry about the outside noises in Pittsburgh? Can they come to Baltimore and maintaining that lead in the division? I will find out on Sunday when I watch that 1:00 game on Sunday afternoon. Another playoff implication game on Sunday afternoon is the AFC South. Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars host Daniel Jones, Jonathan Taylor, and the Indianapolis Colts with the AFC South Division lead on the line. Daniel Jones is playing with a left fracture fibula in his knee. And he practiced all week. He's going to practice again tomorrow. He just wanted to maintain what little bit left for Indianapolis for the rest of the year. Can he maintain the pain tolerance of his knee? I can see he can do it. I'm mentioned by Aaron Rodgers in that left wrist. He got a fractured fibula. I keep saying that. You know what I'm talking about. But I can see the Colts bounce back from losing last week. Remember, they lost to Kansas City just by 2 Sundays ago. They lost to the Chiefs 20. They lost to them in overtime. I can't remember the score. And Sunday they lost to Houston 20-16. But it's a division title on the line. Jacksonville is right there on their tails. Now they tied with Indianapolis, and this is a big game for both teams. Houston is right on their tails. One game back between those two. Not just for the division, but the wild card as well. Let's see what Shane Steichen and Liam Cohen get their game plays ready against each other for his star quarterbacks, Trevor Lawrence and Daniel Jones. And we'll see what the end result will be on Sunday. Another playoff implication game. Speaking of the Texans, they were in Kansas City to take on the Chiefs. This is now looking good for Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. Not a good sign. 6-6. You're coming out of win versus Indianapolis. That's a huge win to go 6-5. But you're coming out of close loss to Dallas on Thursday on Thanksgiving, and 6-6 right now, and that's not good. And I don't think at any point of imagination that I don't see Kansas City missing out of the playoffs. But if they don't play well Sunday night versus Houston at home, then kiss those chances goodbye, but kiss your opportunity to go to the Super Bowl goodbye, because Houston is coming out red hot. They're coming out very hot. Going back to the loss to Denver, 18-15, but whacked up 4 straight wins since then. The comeback win versus Jacksonville, the win against Tennessee, the Thursday night win at home versus Buffalo, and the victory versus Indianapolis on Sunday, that whacked up 4 straight wins to be back in the mix. I heard rumors this week Justin Simmons probably going to sign with Houston, or Tyrann Mathieu going to be reunited with Houston. We don't know if those rumors are true or not. I don't know. We'll see if Houston can pull out the upset on Sunday, and then they can figure out if they can add anybody else to the roster. I look at Houston's defense, the number 1 defense in the league, led by Will Anderson. He's a beast, man. He's a dog. I think he's top 5 in sacks. But the top 3 in sacks are Myles Garrett, Ryan Burns, and Michael Parsons. And look at that. I can see Houston making it. Houston's a scary team. You do not want to face them in the postseason. D'Amico Ryan's putting pen to paper of what his defense looked so far this season. First few weeks of the season, they were 3-5. They're not getting it clicking. They're not getting it right. But when C.J. Stroud went down with a concussion against the Jacksonville Jaguars, Davis Mills stuck around a little bit longer. Led them to 3 consecutive victories, including the win against Buffalo on the Thursday night game. And that's on week 12. And looking back into what the Texans did, to bring back Stroud didn't have a good game, but he got the necessary plays that he needed it to hold off against the Colts Sunday. And if you put it all together, Houston's just a scary team. They won back on the wildcard spot. They won back at the AFC South League. And here's what clicks Houston's schedule right now. They already take on Indianapolis. They got Kansas City coming up Sunday. They win that game, they'll be 8-5. And out of Houston getting in as the division winner on a wild card team, they are the scariest looking team in the NFL right now. From bottom to top on every defensive category. Will Anderson is right there on one of those candidates for Defensive Player of the Year. If I can remember, if this team continues winning, how are you going to surpass Myles Garrett? Myles Garrett got 19 sacks, and they host Tennessee Sunday. I'll be stunned if he ties that record Sunday. If he sacks Cam Ward 3 times, he can sack that record. Maybe one more, he breaks that record Sunday. I want to see history Sunday versus Tennessee at home. Got the Browns host the Tennessee Titans on Sunday afternoon. Cam Ward versus Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur is 1-1 as the starting quarterback of the Browns. He played a little bit better for the first 2 starts of his NFL season in his NFL career. I want to see Shedeur out there more now because take a look at what's going to happen this Sunday. We got a Tennessee team who's poor, not play very good football. But you look at the Browns right now. They lose this game, they're out. They'll be eliminated once again out of the playoffs for the second straight year. If the Browns does not win Sunday, how you gonna make changes for the front office in Cleveland? I know what Cleveland fans is talking about, and I know what I'm talking about. And if the Browns does not win Sunday, what changes are they going to do in the offseason? So we'll find out what's going to happen on Sunday. Can Myles Garrett tie the record or break the record Sunday? We'll find out in Cleveland. Now, let's bring it. Let's go to the Monday night game: Philly versus the Chargers. The LA Chargers have a little bit worry of Justin Herbert's non-throwing hand. Got a broken bone, and he had surgery on Monday. Now, he didn't practice yesterday, but I think he did practice today. They want to make sure that he's ready to go Monday before they can let Trey Lance know if he's going to start or not if Herbert can't go. Philadelphia, not looking very good right now. Not good. I watched Black Friday on Friday. The Bears looking great. The Eagles looking great. Looking not great. I'm going to put it that way. 24-15 loss on Friday. That's going to be a real bite to swallow, a real pill to swallow for Philadelphia to even come back and beat the Chargers Monday night. Hurts and the offense, I'm going to mention about A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Jalen Hurts. All 3 of them are not clicking. When he tried to throw the ball to either Smith or either Brown, they're not clicking. I don't know what's going on. And then Saquon Barkley, he's not the same since last season when he won the Offensive Player of the Year. He could have won Super Bowl MVP. Jalen Hurts won Super Bowl MVP last season. But this is a different season. This is not the same Eagles team, right? Well, look, if I put in 2 ways for the Philadelphia Eagles to even win Monday night, they got to get their heads off their butts and then get ready to play Monday in LA. They're going to have all week of practices just to get it right. They don't win, I don't know what to say. And they're not a top 5 offensive team like they was last year. They were 4 on offensive defensive last year. Not the same. They're about top 20. Not the same. Can Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith, and A.J. Brown put all the distractions aside to win the game Monday night? I think they can. Nick Sirianni knows that. And if he knows what's going on with Kevin Petula, the offensive coordinator of the Eagles, he has to bounce back. They have a great game plan on Monday night. If not, the Eagles not going to make it. I'm not going to count them out. If they don't win on Monday night, they're not going to make it. Point blank. They're not going to make it. They're not going to make it. Point blank. All right, speaking of the Chicago Bears, they're all on the road on Sunday to take on Joe Love of the Green Bay Packers. 4:25 at Lambeau Field. NFC North Division title on the line. It's not the division title on the line. It's the division for the division lead. 9-3 Bears are the number 1 seed after the Rams lost on Sunday to the Carolina Panthers, while the Green Bay Packers 31-24 victory over Detroit on Thursday and Thanksgiving, 8-3-1. Now they are a win away from even taking the lead over the Bears for the division. I look at Ben Johnson right now. He's calm, cool, collective. I don't see no setbacks right now for Caleb Williams for his second season out of USC, the former Heisman Trophy winner. And dig of my knowledge to what happened last year when those 2 teams met for the final game of the season. Caleb Williams and the Bears knocked out the Packers last year, 24-22. This is a different Bears team, and this is a different Packers team. And look, the Packers don't have Tucker Kraft because of an ACL tear against Carolina. But Christian Watson is coming back to fold for the offense of the Packers. He had a great game. Romeo Dowds had a great game. Dontavian Wicks had a great game. He had 2 touchdowns, and one of those touchdowns should have been not scored in the first quarter of the game against the Lions on Thursday. And look, I'm still a little bit upset about that, but I always move on for that. But at the end of the day, this is the 2 teams on the top of the division have a chance at playoff success. If you're looking at Matt LaFleur's record since he's been the head coach of the Green Bay Packers from 2018 through now, he made the playoffs, I think, six of the last 7 years, and went to the NFC Championship game twice. Lost to San Francisco 19-20, and lost to TB12 in the Bucs 2021. So, if you're the Green Bay Packers, you had not won a division title since 21-22. But you missed out of the playoffs 22-23. You made it 23-24 in the last season with Jordan Love. Can you do it again with Jordan Love for the 3rd year in a row? It'd be 19-20, 20-21, 21-22, 23-24, 24-25. And this year would be 6 or 7 because you missed that 1 year. Now, if the Packers does win Sunday to take over the division, I can see what Jordan Love and his offense can do. I can see what the defense can do. Can they have another players step up against the Bears? I can see the same thing for Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams. Can they get past the Packers defense? Can the offense of the Packers get past the Bears defense? I probably want to name a couple of Bears players as well who step up pretty good. One of them is Kevin Byard. The other one's Nahshon Wright. And the other one is Montez Sweat. They are the ones that pretty good numbers in the defensive side of the ball. Turnovers, interception, fumble recoveries. But if I'm looking at the defensive side of the ball, the Bears, you know for sure that something tells me for Ben Johnson, they got to keep going. I'm looking at the offensive side of the ball with DJ Moore, Wilma Dusay, Gordon Loveland, and if noted that Caleb Williams can continue that progression for what happened on Friday afternoon, I think the Bears can somehow win this game against Green Bay and Lambeau. And now, DeAndre Swift is your starting running back. Can he run the ball more often like he did against the Philadelphia Eagles on Friday? 2 of their running backs put up 100+ yards rushing and 1 touchdown as well. If there be a 2 running back duo game on Sunday, I guess that's going to happen. We'll find out on Sunday when the Packers host the Bears. So now, let's go to the playoff picture here. The AFC playoff picture. I got to focus on the number 1 seed in New England Patriots, 11-2, back up 10 wins. Can they keep it together when they come off the bye? They're going to take on Josh Allen at home against the Bills. They win Sunday, they win the division. Denver will be at Vegas on Sunday. They're the 2 seed in the AFC playoffs. Can they rack up their 10th consecutive win? Can they get to 11-2? Mentioned by Indianapolis and Jacksonville. Jacksonville holds the number 3 seed and leading the AFC South. Number 4 is Baltimore and lead the AFC North. They tie in the AFC North against Pittsburgh. Your wildcard teams, the Colts, the Chargers, and the Bills. And then the outside looking in, you got the Texans, Chiefs, Steelers, and the Dolphins. 5-7 Miami. Try to turn them around this season. And speaking of Miami, who they got on Sunday? So, if I look at Miami's schedule, what Tua and Mike McDaniel can do is put they drama to the side and turn around their season to win to get to the postseason. Miami's regular season last few games, they got the Jets on Sunday along with the Steelers on the 15th. That's the Monday night game. The Sunday night game at home against Cincinnati, and then the 1 o'clock game at home versus Tampa Bay, and then they got New England. They might not make it. They're not making it. They're not going to make it. I look at that schedule. They're not going to make it. The easy win is going to be against the Jets to get to 6 or 7. They're not going to make it after the Steelers game. The Bengals is 4-9, and they right back into the mix. No, they're 4-8. Excuse me. They right back in the mix as well. They just only 2 behind the Steelers and the Ravens. Yeah, they 2 behind the Steelers and Ravens for the division. So I don't see Miami make it. After the Jets, I don't see they're not going to make it. They're not going to beat the Steelers. They're not going to beat the Bengals. They're not going to beat the Buccaneers or the Patriots. I don't see they're not going to win. They're not going to win. And they're not going to make it. I can tell you that much. The NFC side, the number 1 seed is the Chicago Bears. The 2 seed is the Rams. They got Arizona on Sunday from the desert. The 3 seed is Philadelphia. I mentioned they will host. They will go to LA to take on the Chargers. The 4 seed is Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Buccaneers 1-0. They are open the 21-day window for Mike Evans to come back. He needs to average, or he needs to get over 800 yards to get 1,000 yards this season. If Cowboys let him play Sunday and dominate that game in the last 4 games, he will break a tie for 12 straight seasons of 1,000 yards to begin a career. Mike Evans was out because of a broken collarbone and a neck injury during the Monday night game in Detroit. He missed a whole month because of it. I like to see if Evans plays Sunday against the Saints, and then they get ready to host Orlando on Monday night, on next Thursday night of the short week. I can see him play the rest of the way and get that 1,000-yard season. I can see that happening. He has to get it done. He has to get average 100 and some yards in the last 5 games. He got a chance to do it. I can see that happening. The wildcard teams in the NFC. Seattle is 9-3. They tied with the Rams. I know the 49ers are 9-4. They the 7. The 6 is Green Bay are 8-3-1. And then on the outside looking in, the Lions, the Cowboys, and the Panthers 7-6. Carolina. They are 2-0 as an underdog. Remember, they went to Green Bay and beat them, and they host the Rams and beat them. They were close games. They won those 2 games as an underdog. Now, the question is for Carolina. Remember, they got the 2 meetings versus Tampa Bay in the next 5 weeks. And if they somehow take 2 of them away from Tampa Bay, they likely get into the playoffs winning the NFC South. So if Carolina does take 2 against Tampa Bay in the last 5 weeks of the year, they take the division. I guarantee if they do, they got a chance. And I mentioned about Detroit and Dallas from earlier in the show. They're going to go ahead and face each other off at 8:15 tonight on Thursday Night Football. All right, some breaking news coming from Adam Schefter. Amon-Ra St. Brown will be playing tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Amon-Ra St. Brown did not practice all week. He will be in uniform playing tonight on Thursday Night Football. Great news from Detroit to get Amon-Ra St. Brown back on the field after missing the rest of Thursday night's game. Thursday game versus Green Bay. Missed the whole game last week. For the rest of the game last week because of the ankle injury 7 days ago. He did not practice in all week, but great news coming from Adam Schefter from the Detroit Lions that Amon-Ra St. Brown is active tonight to surprise and relief of the team. So that's great news that Amon-Ra St. Brown will be in the starting lineup and in uniform tonight versus the Dallas Cowboys in a must-win situation. That's all I have time for today on the pregame show. I'll be back Tuesday for the wrap-up show, but pushback. I will be back on Sunday for the college football playoff final rankings reaction show of the season on Sunday. Then the wrap-up show Tuesday, and the next pregame show next Thursday for the Buccaneers Falcons game next Thursday night. I'll see y'all on Sunday for the final rankings reaction show for the college football playoffs. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday.